Welcome back to the Work of Wellbeing podcast. I'm Amy Green, your host from The Wellness Strategy, and we're here to talk about all things personal and professional wellbeing. This podcast is designed to help you become curious and consider your everyday wellbeing strategies, what you do for your own wellness, and how you can start to transform your life both in and out of the workplace. Sit back, grab a cup of tea, maybe grab a notepad, a journal, and get ready to feel really enlightened about what wellbeing used to be, what it is now, and where you can take your own wellness strategy. Hello, and welcome back to another episode. We're going to talk about something which, big ideas, because that's what I'm about, rethinking and doing things differently. And I know some of these may not land well with everyone. I've tested them on LinkedIn. It has been a little bit of a, we love this, we don't like this idea. And I think really that's because we sometimes can't get out of the storm to be able to see the rainbow. We can't think differently. We can't have new ideas when we're so thick in the weeds. And that's what this is, right? I think because I've been able to step out of schools for a little while, which again is my own love-hate, I can see a little bit differently in terms of how things could look rather than when I'm in it. It makes it so much harder. So I just want to share two ideas with you, nothing too wild. Okay, they're wild. Two ideas with you around how we could start to think differently about workload in schools that would address the issue of workload and stress factors, but also perhaps allow for a little bit more room and space in our day and week. Not that we should fill it with more work things, but allow us to live our life. So I want to unpack this for you, and I want to be able to highlight that these are just ideas. You can take them or leave them. Although for idea number 2, if you are listening and you think we are willing to try that, I would love to help you do that. I think there is actually real impact that could be made if we are incredibly brave enough to do things differently. Is that the right grammar? Incredibly brave enough? If we're brave enough, if we're whatever, you know what I mean? Like if we're ready to do that. Okay, so this is all about how do we look at workload differently, right? Because we just can't at all ignore the fact that workload in a school is high. A lot higher than the time we actually have dedicated for it. And that's like, gosh, how schools are designed and put together is just a whole other conversation. Whether we look at how systems do things differently, whether we look at time on people's pay slips, that's a whole thing. Whether we look at actually whether we have working hours or don't. I mean, states and systems within states, it's just so complicated and confusing. And then we have unions and EBAs and all of those things on top too. So look, it's messy, right? It's messy and grey. Let's not ignore or deny the fact that it's messy and grey. Instead, let's think, okay, well, how can we remove the greyness that we contribute to? So here are my 2 ideas for you. And I want you to come at this with an open mind and just think, gosh, is it possible for us? Okay, so idea 1, right? It's all about looking at how we redistribute what happens in usually term 1 to different parts of the year, but also terms at different parts of the year, and thinking about it through the lens of capacity. So what I mean by this is it is very common at the start of the year to start every new initiative and do everything all at once and have every leader stand up with their project idea and to have teachers have to do 1,000 things and to have the calendar jam-packed. And I get it, that's when we want to start things, right? But it's not always the most efficient or effective, especially when we consider capacity. So we're great at adding things, and we're great at putting things in and saying, let's do this now, but we're not really great at implementing things differently. And so our calendars become so overcrowded. So this is idea 1. Let's look at our calendars through the lens of capacity, not, oh, let's do this because it's great. Oh, let's do this because it appeared in my inbox. Oh, we did this last year, so we better do it again. No. We are treating our turn times like sprints, and then we get to the end of the term and everyone's like, we made it. Gosh. And in some ways, we kind of use these 2-week breaks as bribery. We're like, you know what, you've done such a good job, you'll get 2 weeks off soon. Just hang in there, you have 2 weeks holidays coming up. Don't worry, just get to the end and then you'll be able to sleep for 2 weeks. I mean, really? Really? Do we think that that's okay? Do we think that that's appropriate? Do we think by telling people to work to the bone for 10 weeks and then get 2 weeks to sleep is an appropriate cycle that people are going to be able to engage in sustainably and still feel well and work well? No, hence teacher shortage. I mean, it just makes sense, people. So we can't be doing this over and over and over and then saying, oh yeah, but 2 weeks holidays makes everything worth it. No, it doesn't, because also people are working in that time. So calendars, get them, look at them, and start to ask yourself, what is happening here through the lens of capacity. I mean, looks great on paper, but is it possible in person? Is it possible in real life? Is it actually going to happen? Or are we going to do things kind of, half so-and-so? Are we going to do things mediocre? Are we going to do things but people are going to burn out? Like, these are real questions to start asking. Maybe it's time to look at things and think maybe we need to do this every 2 years instead of annually. Maybe we need to do this once a year instead of every term. Maybe certain year groups need to do this rather than the whole school. Because even though they're great for students, the reality is educators and staff and people are the ones executing it. It's not like, hey kids, you want to go on camp? Great, organize it yourself. I mean, that would just be a disaster. But it doesn't happen, right? If we want to take students on camp or an excursion, we have to then organize that. And there are so many things that come and coincide with that decision. And so we have to be really aware of, whilst the thing looks great, what are all the steps that come before it? We can't just be throwing things out there saying, yep, let's do everything. It doesn't work like that. So I want you to look at your calendar and I want you to look at everything on it and I want you to ask, do we have the space to do it well? Do we have the energy to do it well? Do we have the resources, time, energy, money, space, budget, and people? Do we have the people to do this well? And not just like, oh yeah, that person will do it and that person will do it, but also considering the person alongside everything else they've got going on. Because remember, most of these people are going to be teaching, and so that's a full-time job, not to mention everything else. And is what we're doing sustainable? Like, is it energetically sustainable, allowing people to be able to maintain that impact and that work whilst doing everything else and not feeling like they're going to get to the end of term and think, gosh, now I can sleep and breathe and eat? Not healthy, not healthy. You can see that I'm quite invested in this shift of thinking. All right, second suggestion. So calendars is one thing, right? We want to be reducing things in our calendar because the capacity to deliver most things isn't there anymore in a sustainable way. But I also want to introduce a second idea. It's going to be big, but I need you to just go with it. So, second idea. There is no denying that as educators, we are already working pretty much all year. And depending on what system and state you work in, and let's just, use some generic thinking here, most say our annual leave is in that December-January breakdown for 4 weeks, and then the other time, is work. I mean, it looks different everywhere. I don't really want to use this to unpack that, but I'm just going to say, yes, it's grey, messy, and inconsistent, and probably needs to change. But we are essentially doing 48 weeks worth of work in 40 weeks. That is kind of what's happening. We have overnight things. We have late nights. We are trying to plan at the same time as teach. Like, that just is mind-blowing for me. We're trying to meet with parents. We're trying to do parent-teach interviews. We're trying to do professional development while teach. Like, everything and teach at the same time. Write reports. So we're just cramming so much into our term time. I honestly get why we get to end of term, we're like, no one talked to me for 2 weeks because I just need to sleep and perhaps do some exercise or something, or, lay in the sun, because we are so drained. Now, if we are pushing ourselves to the max for 10 weeks and hitting a 2-week break, it's actually just not long enough to recuperate. That's why we feel like we're always in the hamster wheel. So here is my big idea. What if we redistributed some of those workload things into term breaks? Now, I'm going to use the term breaks. I'm talking about holidays, but they are holidays for students, not necessarily holidays for us. Again, state and system, I know, don't come at me, but let's call it a term break, right? What if it was a term break? So holiday term break for students, but a term break for us. And in the first week, we are on site and we are doing PD and we are doing planning and we are doing parent-teacher meetings and we are writing reports and we are meeting with our teams and planning for the next term ahead. So in that first week, all of this admin stuff that we try and cram in to the end of a school day when we're already depleted happens in the first week. In the second week, I don't really care. Go work from anywhere, do what you need to do. If you want to go and have a holiday, have resource or make resources or sleep in, it doesn't matter. I think we can have that week for ourselves. But in the first week, let's be smarter. Let's take some of the things that mean we're at school until 10 o'clock or working on weekends and put it into that first week of stand down. Now, here are the arguments that I know could come my way from this because I've had them before. Holidays are the only time I get to spend with my kids. Well, that's pretty sad. This is why the job is broken and needs fixing. It is not okay to be in a job where you're relying every 2 weeks to have off to spend with your kids because you're working so hard in the term break. That's why I'm saying move some of it. If I don't have a 2-week holiday, I'm not sure I would be able to keep going. Again, problem. That's why I'm saying we can't do this. It's not sustainable. If I don't have a 2-week break, or, if I don't get that 2-week break, then I never get to rest. Okay, problem. I'm just hearing more arguments for why we need to shift this, actually not affirming that we need to keep continuing with these sprints in term and 2-week breaks. Those arguments, whilst I can understand them, are actually the point here. This is what I'm saying. We need to stop this. This is an unhealthy cycle. It's unhealthy in so many ways, for the work we're trying to do, the impact it has on our students, the impact it has on our own well-being, the impact it has on our health, the impact it has on our families, like all of it. All of the arguments that are like, we definitely need our holidays. I'm saying this is why we need to change it, because it's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. And we're already working anyway. Now, if we take some of these things, this is the other thing. If we take some of these things like report writing, like meeting with parents, like professional development, like meeting with teams, like planning great lessons with explicit instruction and differentiation, and do that in the first week, guess what? In the term time, we're not doing those things. We are not as tired. We are not as depleted. We're not chasing our tail. We're not trying to write reports at the same time as teach. We're not planning lessons the night before because we plan them already. If we do that, we are going to have more space in the working week to live our life. We're not going to fill it with more jobs. People will come at me and be like, yeah, but they'll just find more things for us to do. No, because we're all on the same page here. This is about creating schools to become sustainable workplaces. This is what we want. So we're not going to do that. We're going to acknowledge that it's the same work. I'm not asking anyone to do more work. Sometimes that's people think that's what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to do more work. I'm asking for us to take the work and redistribute it into some of this term break time, because everyone says they're working anyway. So let's just move some of it so that the expectations are there, the clarity is there, the support is there, our team is there, we know what we can do, and then we have a week where if you need to sleep or eat or exercise that entire time, brilliant. Go to Bali, whatever. So good. We need to have a conversation about redistributing some of this workload. It's not going away. More time isn't the answer. More people isn't the answer because we can't get them. And so we have to look for different solutions. All I'm saying is let's redistribute some of this. In my head, I'm hearing lots of things around why people are going to say this can't work, and we could argue all of them. But if we just think about sustainability, I really think it's time to reshift what being an educator and working in a school looks like, especially when it comes to workload. Because I'm sorry, we keep asking for the same solutions. We keep asking for more time. We keep asking for more people. And I don't think either of those are coming at us anytime soon. So we need to rethink. And I actually think taking some of the things that make term time so intense and putting them into term breaks is the answer. May not be popular opinion right now, but I really think it's the answer. So if you're a school and you think we want to try this, let me know, because I would be very, very willing to work with you on this. Run a case study, especially around the energy your people have around how they feel around workload. You know why else I think this would work? I have had multiple people contact me who have left the profession when I've shared this idea, usually privately, because no one wants to say this on a public forum because backlash, but usually privately get in touch with me and say, you are exactly right. I left teaching for a job where I work 48 weeks a year and get 4 weeks annual leave, and I have so much better work-life balance. I feel so much calmer because work is evenly distributed. It's not like I get to the end of the day and then I have 200 other things to do, because we do them in the day or at another time. And so this idea, we have people leaving the profession for 48-week jobs a year, and they are saying that their work-life balance, not my favorite term, work-life flow, manageability, energy is better because there's not the intensification every 10 weeks and then a 2-week break. I mean, that'd be some interesting data to collect, wouldn't it? But I know it's accurate. I've had many people in my inbox sharing this with me. And so that's why I think it would work. Not popular right now, but honestly, if we want to fix the profession, we've got to think differently. And this is perhaps my favorite idea right now. So if you want to try it, let me know. I would love to hear your insights and your thoughts. And as always, have a great day, week, night, whatever time of day it is for you. And I'll see you somewhere soon. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really do hope you have enjoyed it. The information discussed today was just that, information only. It's not specific advice. If you take action following something you heard today, it's important to make sure that you get professional advice about your unique situation before you proceed, whether that advice be legal, financial, accounting, medical, or otherwise. please reach out to me if you have any questions, or if there's anything else I can do to support your own wellbeing and wellness journey, whether it's another topic you'd like me to discuss, or whether it's support in your school, workplace, or individually. And if you do know someone who might benefit from listening to this, please remember to tell them about it, share the episode with them, or suggest my Instagram, my website, or LinkedIn, where they can find out more about me and what I do. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.